put Neffa in charge of all my work for today, so we can go play with Knuckle Duckle.
That's good for you. Now, hello everybody, it's your boy Muse, and I just want to talk about how Genshin actually understands 4 stars, okay? When I hopped back into Genshin, I got Flynn's in like a 10 pull. I mean, I must have had some pity, but 10 pulls in Flynn's, right? And I started going to work. I was like, you know what? I could put him with Farina, Kokomi, and then Official or something. Oh, no, Raiden Shogun, right? And then I started learning, because everybody kept saying, "Oh, Flynn's, you barely need to build crit rate on him because it's in his kit." And then I'm like, "Okay, cool, cool, cool," but I didn't see the crit rate they were talking about in his kit. The crit rate was coming from the set, and the set requires you to have another Nodcry character. I think that's how that works, right? Does it require you to have a Nodcry character, or does it require you to have the other set on one of your characters? Either way, I learned I needed another Nodcry character, and I was like, "Oh snap!" But Flynn's is my only one. But I did get an Ino. I think it was free or just in the banner, right? So, but I did get an Ino. No, no, there is a free Ino. I just never collected it, right? Right?
I know?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and they're giving it to you for free. So yes, they understand 4 stars. When you introduce mechanics into the game, you gotta at least release a 4 star with it, right? Now, as much as I love Zenless Zone, they released what was it? Rupture, and they didn't even release a 4 star until what, 4 updates later? And that's another thing. Zenless Zone messed up by making us wait for Monato, right? If Monato was just released in 2.1, I don't think there would be too much of an outcry for him. I know there would be outcry only because we kind of expected Alice to be the 4 star, but then she ended up being a 5 star. So it's like, okay, so Monato's definitely going to be a 5 star. And then no, he ended up being a 4 star that was released 2 updates too late. And and not only that, but he's a 4 star rupture character, which would have been nice to have during Yishuan's banner too. In fact, he was around in 2.0, so uh, I just feel like they dropped the ball right there. And I love Zenless, but that's a critique I got to give them. And then let's not even get started on Honkai Star Rail not releasing a 4 star in a whole year, especially when Little Cyrene is right there. You would have sold Little Cyrene, guys. Like, but yeah, no 4 stars for a whole year, and then every Air kind of feels like they needed another Chrysos Air in order to work, and then you release the Chrysos Air support of all supports at the end of the year. It just felt very terrible. Yes, we did get several free 5 stars, which is why I say anyone complaining about 4 stars in Honkai Star Rail is disingenuous, because you know damn well you would have upgraded to your 5 star anyways. I feel like the only 4 star that survives this argument is Gallagher. And even I am starting to feel the weakness in Gallagher that I would kind of prefer to grab Linkshaw. And I want to grab Linkshaw for other reasons, but I'll go over that in another video. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Now, next we have Weathering Waves, and yes, they're gonna release a 4 star next update, so not too much to say to them. But I will say Zani did deserve a 4 star character to come out. Actually, Weathering Waves just needed to release 4 stars for every one of their new little element abilities, like Havoc Bane and Spectral Frazzle and whatever Arrow can do. They needed to release a 4 star for each of those. Okay, because I believe we're getting a Havoc main character soon, and I can already hear all the little complaints. However, I think Chisa works with any negative damage type, so that helps in her favor. But at the same time, why not just release 4 stars with all of these little special effects? The Zani controversy went so crazy, and yes, you do have Rover. I was in that camp of no, Phoebe's not the only option. You do have Rover. Stop. panicking, but at the same time, you you also needed Rover on the Arrow team, and you just changed Rover into an Arrow character, but yet you want us to keep using him as a Spectro character. Yeah, you dropped the ball on that one, Woo. Which is why I gotta give high praise to Genshin right now because they introduced this whole Nocry thing, but they made sure, hey, you will have a 4-star that you can use with all the important Nodcry characters. I have Ino on both Nefer and Flynn's team, and currently I'm trying to save to as many pulls as possible to pull on Zhongli's banner and get his C5. Why would you do that? Why do you want his C5? Because I told myself before I retire Genshin, I would like to get C6 Zhongli, and I don't think that's gonna happen, but I'll try and get as close as possible. Yeah, getting up to C4 is nice. I feel so accomplished. But C6 to C6 Zhongli would be nice. However, if I don't do that, that's fine. Honkai Star Rail is letting me C6 Rohan May soon. I believe once anniversary comes around and they give us two more golden companion spirits, bam, C6 Rohan May. And then I also feel like I can C6 my Ju Yuen in Zenless Zone Zero pretty easily because I, they give us a lot of pulls, guys. I feel like Zenless is the most generous, which is why no, I'll save that for another video. But yeah, as of right now, yeah, I just feel like at least for Nodcry, Genshin understands 4 stars, and not only at least for Nodcry, there are still hold on, let's see, there are still teams where you can use old 4 stars like Arlecchino. I had Bennett here, Eugen and Bennett, but then I wanted to try out Shenhe real quick. But yeah, you can still use Bennett. Eugen is great. I feel like this is my only team where I have all 5 stars. Look. Jin Cho from 1.0. He's still putting up numbers. I have to put Jing Cho with everybody. If it wasn't for Farina's release, Jing Cho would be with everyone. And then we have Ino right here. And then we look. I got 2 4 stars in the MC right here, and I'm gonna replace him with Kirara and see how well Kirara does, right? But yeah, I have Nefer rocking 4 stars. Look. I still depend on Diona, and Diona is one of the best 4 stars they've ever created. Jeez. Like before Farina came out, I had Diona together with Ganyu. Yeah, I had Diona with Ganyu for the longest, but then Farina came out and then I put Kazuha on the squad, and then I noticed, all right, if I put Jean on the squad, everybody gets their energy way faster than having Diona on the squad and letting Ganyu have her energy faster, right? So, and I've always wanted to play with Jean, so I thank Farina for dusting off Jean and getting her out onto the field. But yeah, every single one of my teams, well, see, Yoimiya rocking some 4 stars. Except this is an experimental team because I had Yoimiya together with Farina, Jingcho, and I guess Bennett. It was either Bennett or Zhongli as a flex spot. But yeah, 4 stars. Wait, no, this is my traveling team. This is not a real team. And then this is the team I used to take on that stupid checker piece boss. I hate that boss so much. But yeah, the fact that I can use 4 stars in a majority of my teams in this game, I just love it. All right, I love it. So yes, Genshin has never has never forced you to go after 5 stars. You just go after the 5 stars you want, guys. However, I will say Nodcry is starting to adopt the other game strategies. Maybe they started doing that in Natlan. I wasn't around for Natlan, and I don't care for Natlan. But Nodcry, I am starting to see that they are kind of implementing what these other games are doing, where the whole best in slot conversation. I hate that conversation so much. But yeah, how Nefer needs Llama, or how Flynn's quote unquote needs a Nefa. Except I don't feel the need for a Nefa. Like, I'm liking the squad I have right now when it comes to Flynn's. Now, when it comes to Nefer, it's not Lauma that I want. I want a good shielder. A good shielder that will allow me to keep getting more dendro cores. But yeah, let me go ahead and cut this video before I ramble on too long about other subjects that don't matter. I just wanted to talk about how Genshin still makes 4 stars a priority, and I like it. So, with that being said, if you made it this far into the video, well, congratulations. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. If I won the 50-50 to your heart with this conversation, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Wow, subscribe. That's how you say it. Subscribe. Subscribe button. However, you don't have to do either of those things, everybody. I just appreciate you for showing up today. Good night.